Hi there and welcome to my YouTube channel. The name is Horata Huitsane Salalidi. I'm so excited to be here yet again on a beautiful Monday. Welcome. If it's your first time here, welcome and thank you for stopping by. I hope this video will be useful to you, but if you are new here, I'd want to encourage you to pause this video and go back to the very first video of our 8-week coaching program titled Envisioning Envisioning the Next Decade, right? And if you are a returning viewer, if you have been following along with this program, hi and welcome. I hope the past 8 weeks or the 8 sessions that I've led you through have been impactful for you. And just as a disclaimer, it is raining. We thank God because it's been so hot. And I hope that I'll be able to clear out that noise. But just as a disclaimer, just in case you can hear the thunder rumbling in the background. So welcome. I still have a bit of flu. So my voice is not it. But wanting to take this opportunity to welcome you to today's video. We are wrapping up, let's say, the journey that we have been for the past 8 weeks. And if you haven't done the program, if you haven't started doing the work at all, what I've been saying consistently in the past videos is I'd want for you to do the work or decide to start the program or start the coaching program only if you are ready to do the work, right? So there are, I think now 7 weeks that are left up until 2025, and there's still time. You can decide to actually start today and go to the first video, figure out what you want. And remember, in thinking about envisioning, what we are doing is we're drawing a picture of what you want to see in the next 10 years. We're drawing, right? Just like in primary school when the teacher said, take out a piece of paper and draw the sky, draw the clouds, draw the ground, and this program is designed to help you really think about what it is you want, grand scheme. I personally love an app called Pinterest, not to assume you know it, but it is the best app so far that I've found that you can actually use to build your vision board, right? And I have a vision board right there at the back, but I talk about vision board because what you're doing when you sit down and you think about what it is you want, it is important to actually have a picture, mental picture. And what better thing to do than to have an actual picture? So at Pinterest, you can actually create a vision board and make it private and put everything that you want to see come to pass in your life in the next 10 years, right? But just to welcome you, I am Horata Huitsane Salalidi. I am a certified professional life coach with Transformation Academy. And what certification basically means is that I have gone through a course that has certified programs that have been tested and trialed through different models. Don't even know where this is going. But said plainly, certification basically has given me tools that I can use to actually guide you as you go through your own life. Personally, I love structure, and having had done these programs, what I've seen in my own life is, I'd say, small incremental changes of transformation as compared to trying to overhaul your life all at once. So I'd want to encourage you, before even jumping into today's video, to click on our link, or click on my link rather, for my business, Story Age Consulting, and consider taking up one-on-one coaching, right? And speaking of my business, these videos are purely sponsored by Story Age Consulting, and our tagline is that your destiny is in your DNA. We believe that you have everything you need to succeed right inside of you, and what coaching does is just to bring it out. So welcome to today's video. We are in week 8 of 8, where we are wrapping up the program and really are just going to be talking about reviewing and reflection, doing a review and taking up reflection as a posture for the next 10 years, right? And truly, if you look at the workbook, if you've registered and downloaded the workbook, or how I had structured it is to actually help you think through the work that you've done over the past 2 months, right? The program is 8 weeks, so you would be doing that work for yourself, on yourself, for your future self, right? And at week 8, the week is really dedicated to you reflecting on your lived experience over the past 2 months that you would have actually been going through the program. But the conversation I'd want us to have today, and what's on my heart for today's video, is really just getting you to a place where you take up a posture of reflection and reflecting on your own life, right? I shared on my LinkedIn through my newsletter titled Living a Legacy, or hey, not Living a Legacy, sorry, the Legacy Algorithm. Everything, I have a lot of, I'd say, programs that are tied to legacy. Living a Legacy was a program that we're running now in November. But the Legacy Algorithm, where I shared journaling prompts for the end of October, and when I did them for myself, I actually realized that it was such a sobering moment where I had to reflect and think about what I lived through in the month of October, the lessons that I'm taking out of it, and also just putting myself in the hot seat and be very objective about how I'm leading my life, to say, but what are my intentions for the month of November, knowing what I know now, right? So I'd want to challenge you to take your life a little more seriously and take up this habit of reflection, right? And the reason why I'd say taking your life seriously is because you're actually now taking time to recognize what it is you are actually living through, what the lessons are, so what happened to you, the lessons that come from it, and most importantly, you get an opportunity to actually, comprehensively think what you're actually going to do about it, or what you're going to do next. You get an opportunity to make informed decisions about your life. So we are going to be thinking through 2 words, the word review and the word reflection. So in thinking about reviewing your lived experience and reviewing your life, the key thought here is assessing the progress that you have made. And I'd want for you to take this up as a habit that you're going to build for yourself, for your future self, even as you step into executing the vision that you've thought out for the next 10 years. So it is important to get to a place where you are able to assess the progress that you have made and make that a habit, right? A lot of us, let me not say a lot of us, but I had a terrible habit of setting resolutions when I was in my 20s. Now in my 30s, I am stepping into wisdom and I'm getting out of that funk of, setting resolutions, forgetting them, going along with my year, and coming into November and December feeling distraught and because I haven't accomplished anything. And you'd find that in getting into a habit of reviewing and thinking about your lived experience, what you are doing is you're building this state where you are actually holding yourself accountable, right? You're holding yourself accountable. It's very easy when you look at someone in your life, either your friend, your colleague, your husband, your family members, your leaders, and look at them and say they're not showing up in your life the way they should. But it's very hard, but very critical for you to actually get to a place where you are able to sit yourself down and say, but am I living my life the way I thought I would want to live it out? And especially now that you've done the visioning work, you've done the visualization in terms of what you'd want to see come out of your life, it is important to actually make time to sit down, assess the progress. And an assessment looks like this. We had planned, let's say, to lose 10 kilograms in 10 months. By month 5 or by month 3, the assessment would have to yield 3 kilograms, right? If you are losing a kilogram every month, that is an assessment. There has to be a measure in terms of what it is you're trying to get out. If you're trying to save 100 bila or 100,000 bila in 10 months, there's a certain point and markers within that time frame where you can actually measure and figure out how much you are supposed to actually be against your goal. So just as you do assessments, or as you did assessments in school to figure out if you truly understand what you're learning, I'd want you to get to a place where you are testing and trialing and checking whether or not there's progress in your life, right? It's a very important thing, very hard thing, but I want you to get into the habit of taking yourself to task and reviewing where you are versus where you want it to be, and making corrective actions now rather than 10 years down the line, because the time will pass anyways. So if you don't do the work, you will look back with regret to say that, I could have, but the time would have gone by. So rather start doing the work now. And the reason why I said developing it as a habit is because I'd want you to get to a place where it's so normal. It's as normal as brushing your teeth or eating every other single day. So every single week, I'd want you to get into the habit of assessing the progress that you have made in your life, right? And in thinking about the next 10 years. This could be in different areas. Could be a career, could be a family, it could be your health, it could be your business, it could be the creative projects that you are planning to do. Like for me, doing this YouTube channel for the next 10 years, I have targets in terms of how many followers I want to have accomplished in the next year. And that calls for certain habits that I need to take up if I want to actually see that progress come through, right? And just a few thoughts that I'm going to read out and I'll speak to shortly. Really, and even as I'm sharing, I'd really want for you to put yourself on the hot seat and really think about, am I doing enough reflection? Am I setting aside enough time to really think about how I show up for the people that I love, how I show up for myself, how I show up at work, how I show up in my family? And am I able to actually live my life from an informed place? And if the answer is no, that's okay. And that's a perfect place, especially if you're answering that question objectively, because what that means is you can actually start doing the work. And I'd want to challenge you, if you were to forget everything I said in the past 12 minutes and 37 seconds, is to say I'd want for you to start doing the work today, right? Start doing that work today for yourself. You will not regret it. So I'm just going to read these out in your hearing, and even as I read, just reflect on how that applies to your life, right? So in reviewing and building a habit of reflection, you get an opportunity to refine your plans. And something that I'd want for you to think about is, when last did you set a new goal, right? When last did you set a new goal for yourself? If at all you've accomplished all that you have set before yourself. And in reviewing and reflection, you get that opportunity to actually build on your current achievements. You get an opportunity to review how you got there, the approach, and to optimize your progress. I like talking about an operating system, and when I think about optimization, you're removing, I'll say, the unnecessary things that are wasting your time, and you are kind of embedding I'd say processes that make things work the way they should. I don't know if that makes sense. Optimization is a word that's usually used in corporate, right, for restructuring, reorganizing, and. But for yourself, for your life, as you reflect, as you review, you get an opportunity to actually optimize your progress, right, and reorganize how you've been approaching your life. What I've noted down as well is to say, even as you review and reflect, you get an opportunity to look ahead and embrace the future with optimism and confidence. What it also does, even as you're looking ahead, especially for me, like when I'm in my dreaming mode, it kind of embeds a different sense of optimism concerning my dreams, right? And also what it does is instills and helps me to stay committed to my vision, in this case yourself, to stay committed to your vision, and two things that I believe in learning to look ahead, right? To look ahead and envision your life in the next 10 years is that what you are actually going to realize is, even as you look ahead, there's a certain level of resilience and knowledge that needs to, I'd say, be incorporated. There's new things that you need to learn if you want to get to that job. There's new things that you need to learn if you need to get that promotion, right? So even as you dream, and I hope that you dream big and you allow yourself to dream big and bigger, even as you look ahead into the next 10 years and realize the opportunities that actually exist in you being able to just, have a vision of what you want your life to look like, and actually realize what will be required of you in terms of resilience, right? It's a beautiful dream, but it will require you to keep holding on and to keep striving until you get to that vision, right? So I want to leave you with a question as we wrap up the program, as we wrap up our first free program. A thought and a question that I'd want for you to really think about from a very objective place, right? What are your priorities for the next 2 months? What are your priorities for the next 2 months? Can you, name out your top 5? I did 6 priorities. But what are your top priorities for the next 2 months? Where's your time? Where's your energy going to flow into? If you don't decide, it will be taken up by people, by things, and by the time you look back, you'd realize you've wasted that time. So what are your priorities for the next 2 months, and what actions will you take to continue progressing towards your long-term goals? What are you going to do differently? That is an action, right? Action precedes you doing something. And I am a proponent for weekly reflection, and in thinking about, okay, my life played out one way in the past week. So in the coming week, what do you want to do differently? Like, even for myself personally, as a young wife, there are certain reflections that I have for myself to say, I actually want to do this differently in the coming week. For myself in that particular area, in terms of how I show up when I'm wearing that hat, right? So I'm just going to take this time to pause. Just going to pause and thank you for doing the program all the way to the very end. I don't know what year you're watching this. It will be here, I think, even in the next 10 years. But whenever you are watching it, I want to thank you for taking time to work on yourself, right? It is, I'd say, in this hustle and bustle of life where everything is competing for your attention, you have decided to actually take time and work on yourself, for your future self. I would want to commend you for actually betting on yourself, right? Before anyone can actually step in and show up for you one way. And this is something that I heard at the corporate millennial closing ceremony that stood out to me, to say you need to be able to bet on yourself, right? So I think I'm taking that and sharing that with you as well, to then say, don't be afraid to bet on yourself. Don't be afraid to dream. And the one key takeaway from this program for myself is to allow myself to dream. I don't know what dreams you've stashed away and put in the closet, but I want to challenge you to go back, make time, make room in your life to actually reflect what dreams you may have put away, that you may have foregone, that will actually steal away from the life that you could have lived, right? It's not too late to start doing the work. It's not too late. The only time where it'll be late is now, as you're being lowered into the ground 6 feet under. So it's not late until your last breath. I'd want to challenge you to take your life as seriously as you can, right? And start doing the necessary work so that you can actually enjoy this life thing, right? Going back to my operating system analogy to say, when all systems are go, when all is working as it should, when you're at that place of optimization, you get to enjoy life. There's no more strife, there's no more tension. Not that there won't be obstacles, but you're leading your life from a place of mastery, and I'd want for you to get to that place. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, tuning in, and I'd want to challenge you to go back, reflect on the goals that you've set for yourself, reflect on the strategies that you've set for the next 10 years, and really just refine, even as you review, refine your approach on how you're going to execute. And I wish you only the best, and I pray that may God's favor locate you, and may His grace sustain you even as you live out the next 10 years. My hope, my ultimate prayer, I'd say with my company, is that it will be a vehicle that will actually bring financial freedom, and I will be able to retire at 40 and enjoy financial freedom. From my lips to God's ears, what do you want? What do you want? I will end the video here. I am Khorata Khitsane Solaledi, lead coach at Story Age Consulting and founder. Thank you so much for watching this video, for partaking and participating in this program. I hope you are able to click on that subscription button and notification bell so that you are notified when new videos go up. New videos every Sunday, Monday, and Friday, and specifically for my free coaching programs every single Monday without fail. And I will be cooking up something, or I have cooked up something for the last remaining weeks of November, and I hope that it will be a blessing to you, and it will shift something within you, and it will help you to think on your life. Thank you so much. It is goodbye from me.